Howdy folks and welcome. I hope this finds you well. Today I'm very excited to be talking about one of my favorite franchises of all time, or let me put it this way, one of the better trilogies in gaming. I have not played 4 and 5 but look forward to later in the series. The original Gears of War came out in early November of 2006 and was praised by critics and gamers alike for its gruesome graphics, fun gameplay, and a whole lot more. Reviews of that time could not foresee, and one of the reasons why I love doing these retrospectives is how the original Gears of War was such a great catalyst for the franchise. Behind the steroid machismo of Marcus Fenix, the over-the-top violence of chainsawing alien bugmen, or the absolute trope-filled incompetence of human militaries, there was one aspect that I'll be focusing on, and is the thesis for this video. Gears of War is exactly how you set up a franchise through visual storytelling and world building. I know, I was kind of blown away by trying to write through this lens as well, but hear me out. Gears does not tell you anything. Rewind back to 2006, you've seen the trailers, might have seen gameplay, and for at least myself, I was more concerned about killing the Locust than the subplot. If you've watched some of my previous videos, I also enjoy world building that isn't thrown in your face. Gears, especially this Ultimate Edition we'll be going through today, 1000% nails it on the atmosphere, visuals, audio, and gameplay. And then all those things add up to the story, which in my eyes is the best cohesion a game could want to deliver on. Everything working together. And we'll get into specifics. There's a lot of small details that I fawned over this playthrough, and this is not a perfect game. There are some issues around the pacing, certain bosses, and some character clipping, yet it never detracted from the overall experience. I also would love to hear your take on the first Gears, how it influenced you, whether it got you into the series, or if the whole aura of the game didn't vibe with you back then or now. Also coming from a person that again has not played 4 or 5. Looking into the subreddit, I just have no idea what to expect. So with that, this will be a pseudo clean look into the franchise as a whole, and let's delve deep into how the first Gears of War did so well creating said franchise. So right off the bat, that music sends a shiver down my spine. There's something so melancholy, eerie, and menacing, yet in a way, beautiful. And here we go. The first 3 minutes of the game are akin to the first 3 minutes of Half-Life 2 in my eyes. Yeah, we're going there. First, we have whatever the hell those creatures are above the prison cell, which shows instantly that there's something very wrong going on. Then we get this line.
What are you doing here?
Getting you out. Here, put this on. You'll need it.
You could get in a lot of trouble for doing this.
Not anymore. Things have changed. We better go.
What about the other prisoners? You can't just leave them here.
They're gone. Hoffman pardoned everybody.
Is that right?
And oh boy, he pardoned everyone? See, that's the excellent setup and writing there, and goodness me, I know it's literally the first 3 minutes of the game. We now know something horrible has happened in the world since the whole prison was pardoned, and even better, we know Fenix has done something so egregious, he's been left here to rot. I just wonder where he gets his protein, because goddamn, I'll never be that buff. Also, writing with blood on the walls does not help the situation. Gears also has this point of interest view, which I thought was neat. It's a great way to have the player know where the developer wants you to look or has something planned, but isn't constrictive like a cutscene.
Hold your fire! We are inside the prison! Over!
Roger that, holding fire. Advise you relocate ASAP.
We get to the courtyard and get our first battle. Another excellent part of this game is the level design. Not so much the linearity of it, but the arenas that you'll be fighting. Every place that you fight Locust will have very specific cover, to the point where I sometimes felt I understood how the designer wanted us to move through the arena. Yet there were times throughout the fights that the spawning in of Locust felt like it defeated the purpose of said movement, and we'll get there. For now, our rescue mission isn't going well. And that's another major win for this opening. What the hell was that creature? Right, guys? Like, we just went from being stuck in a prison cell to kicking some sort of alien ass to this gigantic monster emerging from the ground with what seems to be some sort of technology on its head. Yeah, I've got so many questions, but good God, am I ready to tear through 1,000 more of those guys to get them? And that's the best part. It feels so rewarding to do that. It goes back to the cohesive aspect of the game, the visual loop into the gameplay, which loops into the story, which loops back to the gameplay. It's such a well-balanced ecosystem that when the pacing does ebb away because of one specific mechanic, i.e. actually walking around, you'll feel it. Anyways, we're on the chopper and get our brief. The rookie recognizes Fenix from some previous battle, and the commander immediately calls Fenix a traitor.
You! Traitor like you doesn't deserve to wear the uniform.
Looks to me like you need all the help you can get.
Step aside. Lieutenant, I've got good news. We have a plan to end this war. Once and for all.
Yeah, right.
Sensors are picking up enemy movement, sir, close by.
Another world-building line about this war, and oh boy, if the prison and the city were any indication of the level of destruction, this war has been happening for a while. We also get this hilarious encounter with Fenix and the Metal Gear Solid woman. Like, I was not expecting that. Poor rookies. So, we need to get some sort of device to map out the enemy tunnels, I guess. So, this is like a global nom. I also adore the line, "Are we going to get air support?" and the indignation from the commander's reaction makes me laugh every time.
I want you to get in there, find those men, and deploy that resonator.
Will we have air support?
What? Are you kidding? You are the support, son!
We'll get more of the character Fenix later on, but already I somehow connect with him more than most main characters nowadays. For such a gigantic piece of bulky destruction, he seems to fight for more than the love of the game, if you know what I mean. Going through this first level had my jaw dropping. Firstly, the Ultimate Edition absolutely slaps with graphic options, and I could not get over the architecture that this world had to offer. It reminded me so much of Fallout 1 and 2 with this amazing futuristic Art Deco design, but also had some interesting deviations, like the amount of churches and cemeteries, which also built up the mystique of the world that we were embarking into. Blowing up Locust with grenades, chainsawing them, or my favorite, a shotgun to the face, is probably one of the most satisfying feelings in gaming still to this day. Plus the reload mechanic that almost becomes second nature, yet I have a feeling they changed the timing slightly just so you can't memorize it. Let me know if I'm wrong on that. You can also see the scale of destruction, which, please don't make it a drinking game in this video, you will die. It is fantastic world building. It's not just nuked or full toppled. No, there are signs of use, like the bridge you walk on to get into the archives or further along into the game. Think about what could have happened to make these conditions and that humanity hasn't won. Even more so, it's on its back legs from what we've heard so far. Plus the fact that the enemy you're fighting is literally coming from the ground, we're going to need something bigger.
Well, it could be Alpha.
Dog tags are gone.
Is that the resonator?
Nah.
Now what?
Let's get that resonator.
Marcus. What do you think?
What do I think? Could be Alpha, or it could be the Locust setting a trap. There's only one way to know for sure.
Inside the House of Sovereigns.
Our next target is House of Sovereigns. Straight ahead.
When Fenix says it's probably a trap set by the Locust, I went, damn, they're smart, aren't they? We'll see the Locust progression, which the developers did an excellent job trickling you information, but as of now, they shoot and ask questions later, and set up traps knowingly displaying mutilated bodies of soldiers, which has to put a dent in morale. Another thing is that even on medium difficulty, you will die a lot. I respect this a lot since it's like XCOM in that way. You don't use cover, you die in like 3 seconds. It makes you think when the best time to push is, or makes you realize how cool cover can be. and I hope you're taking the art design and direction here. Everything feels like it worked before the war or had a purpose. Plus there's a lot of imagery with cogs. Yes, C-O-G-S, cogs, which I think were called that as soldiers, but there were so many references to cogs that I can't help but feel like a bit overwhelmed. Like, why are they putting it up like a Christ-like figure or something? Gears 1 has so many fantastic firefights. They knew what they were doing putting this circular cover and having emergence holes coming out of the corners.
Who's next?
The AI does a decent job at flanking or using the co-op system, but it's not perfect. Like these interiors, guys, I don't think I've been more impressed with interiors for a third-person game since, I don't even know. Gears is also telling you how to play their game, which is beautiful. Take this room for example, and somewhat the hallway before. You will die if you go headfirst against the spotter, so keeping to the sides and then using your height advantage teaches the player that it's advantageous to do this. Then they enhance it by sending enemies against you, showing you the futility of even attempting an onward assault. That's pretty awesome.
Let's go.
Wow, are you kidding me? The House of Sovereigns is such a spectacle. Not only do you have your next focus moment, which again shows some sort of advanced locust moving fast. Yeah, I don't want to face those guys. Anyways, we fight our way through and then fight against an oncoming wave, which sometimes gets old. They do this a lot where you take 1 point, defend it, which I know, I'm just saying how amazing that was just 5 seconds ago, but when you repeat a good thing too much, it becomes less prolific. Also, here was the first time a character clipped into the geometry or the pathing was off, but somehow reset itself. Maybe there was a timer or something like that. Anyways, we might have found where Alpha is located.
Somebody's having a good time up there.
Yeah, that was beautiful, baby.
State your name, soldier.
Private Augustus Cole, Alpha Squad, sir.
Coal? As in the coal train?
Yeah, that's right.
Where's the rest of your squad?
They're sitting tight over in the tomb.
We're Delta Squad. We're here to retrieve the sonic device.
And to get you guys out of here.
Well, hell yeah, we've been waiting for the chopper, but the radios don't work for shit. Sir,
We noticed.
it's the Cedars. They're jamming our transmissions.
So there is something called a seeder, and it messes with radio communication. But more importantly, Dom and Fenix know of J-Train as a football player or something that needs a defensive lineman. I think it's thrashball they call it. Fenix and him saw J-Train play live, which begs the question, how long ago was he a professional? And again, what the hell happened to this world? We try to get out and find the rest of Alpha Squad, but meet a new enemy type, the Wretch.
Keep those things away from Jack.
Multiple contacts! There's too many!
Fall back! Fall back!
Hold your position!
Goodness me, wretches aren't that powerful. I mean, they'll rip you to shreds, but what they lack in grandeur, they make up for in scaring the living you-know-what out of you. This was a great little standoff, and I appreciate how the developers introduced the wretches at first and then put them away so we'd forget. Well, I won't forget now. Another visual that I'll be talking about later in Act 3, I want to plant the seed for it now. While playing, I couldn't help but feel claustrophobic during the human levels. What I mean by that is that a lot of the arenas or areas you'll be in throughout the city feels closed in. Not in a bad way, so don't misconstrue what I mean. It just feels tight, crushing even. It's a great juxtaposition to where we'll find ourselves in Act 3, which had the opposite effect interestingly, and we'll see why then. Just putting this out there for later. Anyways, we find the cedar, and apparently they smell bad. I don't know if they reference this again, but it's kind of a neat detail that they can use the smell to figure out where the cedar is. Also, I was surprised when a Hammer of Dawn was just sitting in this derelict building. Like, who left this here? I would have rather had them bring it or have a lieutenant have it than just finding it randomly. Also, I thought it was only in Gears of War 2, so I was pleasantly surprised by finding it. Yeah, it's been a while. The Hammer of Dawn is one of my favorite weapons of all time, even if it relies on satellites. Add on to that the animation for the cedar dying, and oh boy, you've got me. Another thing about these interiors and the cogs is that it seems like this was a pretty powerful civilization that has recently fallen. To create this much, like the infrastructure and institutions, is no small feat, furthering the questions and the mystique of the universe we find ourselves fighting through. With all the cedars taken care of, we've got Alpha's coordinates and try to save them. Oh boy, this seems ominous.
This is Alpha. Where the hell are you guys? Man! Oh shit, man, where you been?
Delta Squad is in the House of Sovereigns. Over.
Well, that's great. We're pinned down by troikas on your rooftop. Over.
Like the fall of the Roman Empire on Alien Crack. We also get more information that Fenix was put on trial in this very building. Which again, I love how they do not say anything more about this.
A history here.
A lot of lies, too.
You've got some nerve, soldier. I know all about your trial.
This trial was a sham, sir.
It's a great piece of writing because the vagueness is for us, not for the characters. They already know their history and we'll have to decipher it through their interpersonal relationships, which is very worthwhile. We get this really awesome turret sequence just blowing up Locust with their own machine gun with this backdrop is pretty heroic and badass. And finally, we make it to Alpha.
We're at the pickup zone now.
We have visual.
Who loves you, baby?
Yeah, group hug.
Locust!
I am pleased with our progress. I understand they have located another squad. Our strategy remains the same. Cut off the head of the snake, and the body dies. We will win this war. It's only a matter of time.
No, we're here for Alpha and the Resonator. Come on!
Oh, goddamn. If General Ram isn't one of the most badass villains you've seen, I don't know what floats your boat. And that voice. So not only are the Locusts very good at setting up ambushes, which you need some sort of higher thought process to pull off, there seems to be a leader. I'll take her human voice at face value at the moment too, since I don't know if this was the designer's choice or actually a plot point. We shall see. Anyways, we inform HQ that our lieutenant is dead, but we don't really have time because of our next encounter with a new Locust, the Berserker.
You're Baird.
Yeah, that's right, asshole.
Question is, who are you?
Oh shit, quiet. Don't move.
What was that?
A berserker. She can hear us. She can smell us.
As much as the Berserker scares the ever-living shit out of me, it's one of the coolest designs and also adds on to the lore. The The locusts need to chain this crazy gal, definitely for their own protection, but it seems like there's some sort of hierarchy going on. Escaping the berserker had my heart rate high. She makes spooky sounds, she's physically intimidating, and the level design is awesome for this battle. They have you trying to trick her into opening the doors. The first room is so large that I thought it was easy, but then they pulled this small room out, and once I saw it, I knew it would take some maneuvering. And then the icing on the cake. This thing does not go down with one shot from the Hammer of Dawn. Even more so, it looks like it absorbs most of the energy and then runs at you full speed. So we're tasked with getting the robot to something called an emulsion facility. I don't know what that is, but it won't be the last time HQ just tells us what to do. I also like the little bit about Fenix not caring if it's night or not, which, bud, if you're a veteran of this war, you'd be pretty afraid of the night, so I don't really understand why he brushes that off.
And you're in charge, Sergeant Fenix, as of now.
Sergeant? Copy that. We're clear for Ravens.
Negative. Area's too hot for choppers. You'll have to find another way.
Copy that.
Typical. Don't give the smart guy a promotion. No. Give it to a jackass instead.
So we gotta hump this to the factory, or what?
Nah, screw that. I got an idea.
We get a good back and forth from Dom, J-Train, and Baird going into the next level.
Plan? What plan? You don't have a plan? You're just talking shit. Plan.
Just wait and see, asshole.
Look at these visuals, are you kidding me? I very much enjoyed the details of the business logos, and then the theater exterior was excellent. Again, going back to that Art Deco vibe that works just so well here. We get another split route thing, which never seems to have any real consequences, but we get a great shot of a train system that was previously used. Do the locusts remind you of orcs kind of from Lord of the Rings or the Uruk-hai? Like, I like how the locusts seem to be very diverse in their army composition. We fight through the streets, which had some fun cover to use during set pieces. We've also been tracked by another form of locust, a corpser, that burrows itself and can apparently travel great distances underground. We also get informed of where we're going to spend the night. Dom talks about people called Stranded, which, again, I'm so glad they don't just say what the Stranded are, or how they were stranded. Instead, Dom gets some weird reactions from the two Alpha boys, which makes it interesting. A, why would they have reservations about seeking help from other humans, and B, why they're even called Stranded.
Now if you got a plan, let's hear it.
I know somebody who lives out here. He's got a vehicle. It's a piece of crap junker, but it runs.
What? You know one of these stranded guys?
Yeah, there's a camp up ahead.
So, what? You hang out with stranded?
I don't hang out, dickwad. I'm looking for somebody.
Shut up, Baird. Keep moving.
What? What'd I say?
The Hammer of Dawn as a weapon demonstrates that humans still have working satellites, and I instantly thought of, well, humans must be in space, and whoever didn't get picked up before the war has been stranded. Hence the name. I truly don't remember, so I'm excited for it organically to come to light. Anyways, we also see a lot of infrastructure when it comes to machinery, and it's still working too, which is odd, but the game does later on explain it at some point. If I can't find the clip later, I'll just explain it. We fight our way through some baddies and finally get to the Stranded. This was a lot more put together of a settlement than I had expected, especially since can't the locusts just burrow underground wherever? How would they not kill off these people? Regardless, the locals aren't too happy to see us either, which makes these interactions even more interesting.
Hey, pig! I'm talking to you, piggy.
Blow me.
Leave it alone, Baird.
What are you, my mom?
Santiago, what you doing here? No news on the lady, man. I'll tell you if I heard anything.
I don't want people seeing me with you, all right? It's not good for business, man.
So Dom has someone he's also searching for, it seems, but this trader hasn't gotten any new information for him. So obviously there's some sort of network out here for him to be a trader, and there has to be more settlements out there too. For now, Dom and Fenix are tasked with grabbing the car from the gas station, but of course it's like 2 miles away, and it's turning into nighttime.
All right, man, I'll do it. Yo, on one condition. They stay here, yo, as collateral. We can use the extra guns, man.
Done.
It's a chap's gas station. Watch who go get it.
That frickin' laugh. Walking through the abandoned apartments or walkways was not only fun to play through, but visually striking on so many levels. You get to see how people sort of lived, which was a great mix of sci-fi elements and 20th century fireplaces. I like that. We also see that there have been some modifications to the area post-war, since the police system was definitely not designed by any structural engineers. Then we get nighttime, which, oh boy, I did not like one bit. Not only are the krill horrifying with their screeches, but they will kill you quickly if you're not in the light. I love this line about how the Stranded recognize Cole from his playing days, another check in the world building book. See what I mean by horrifying though? The krill do serve as a nice gameplay element. It's not just like stay in the light. The developers tried their best on different scenarios, like shining a light on your partner, shooting propane tanks, which Dom has a line about, saying it's not good since the Stranded rely on them, which is an interesting take. And my favorite, pushing a flaming car for light and cover. It's also a neat little thing seeing signage for the House of Sovereigns, since we've already been there, and kind of reinforces the whole city thing. Also, I know I haven't talked a lot about the music, but the ominous undertones of the ambient sounds with the overtures of the fighting music were just a great contrast. Now, after some krill deaths, I don't want to talk about it, we finally make it to the gas station where inexplicably this guy is just chilling. Like, what do you do for fun here?
Gosh, you nincompoops. Look at this place. You burned half the neighborhood down, and we've got locusts and krill flying up our ass, all thanks to you.
This was a good engagement, even though you couldn't use the windows as cover. HQ informs us that the locusts have attacked the Stranded position, and we have the double time back to their base. What wasn't as fun was the next portion on the bridge.
Good to go. Drones! Up there!
Damn it!
Get in!
Not again!
Go!
Watch out! Left, you numbskull!
It's an interesting concept, but the clunky controls for the vehicle, in addition to having to stop to use the light beam, felt off. It just wasn't good pacing. What do you think of this section? Again, I love the visuals through this though, and it's heavily reminded me of Washington DC from Fallout 3. From the bridge design to the buildings, it was striking the level of devastation in this place. We get back to the village to repel the attack, which again, what a great set piece. It's a great contrast to the open world procedurally generated content or ideology. If we make a bigger space, the player will like it more. I'm a fan of those types of games, but this curated battles are something to behold. even if the spawning can sometimes be erratic. With the major sinkhole cleared and the tank operational, we drive out to the emulsion mine. At this juncture, I felt like the tone of the game was shifting. Did anyone else get spooked by this place?
Hold up!
Damn it! Okay, Delta. Looks like we're walking.
It wasn't just the creepy glowing wretches, but the size of this factory was staggering, and it looked like it was still in operation. Which would be odd since the capital was absolutely decimated. So the main entrance is blocked and we can't use our robot since it's too thick. And we have to find an alternative route. Fenix and Dom also have a small conversation how no one has been underground in years and calls it enemy territory.
You know that nobody's been underground in years, right?
I know.
Look, man, it's enemy territory. I mean, it's bad enough when we're fighting these things outside, in broad daylight. But underground, in the dark?
Yeah, could be bad.
I like this even if we sort of understood the Locusts used some sort of tunnel network deeply embedded under the surface of the planet. It just adds to their understanding of what they've been tasked with. Something monumental. Or even a one-way mission if you know what I mean. As we enter the facility, we enter Act 3, Belly of the Beast, Evolution, which really made me think what the hell was going on. There was a lot we still didn't know.
We've been here for at least 2 minutes.
Well, good for you, smartass. Give us your location.
The basement, and it's a dump.
Walking around these cramped corridors with some excellent visual storytelling was a treat. And again, who the hell is the stranger and why does he think they're there to save him?
Ceasefire! Dipshit.
Finally, the rescue team.
What are you doing in here?
Waiting for you? I'm ready to go.
We're looking for the cart control room. Where is it?
Well, you have to get down to the factory floor through that door, but it's locked.
Well, how about you help us unlock it?
Who? Me? Aren't we leaving?
Not yet.
Was this facility still being run during this war? Anyways, we get an interesting little voice line from the Stranded about how gears are fascist, bloodthirsty pigs.
Can we please just leave?
No. We've got work to do.
Please! If we stay here, they'll kill us for sure.
Relax, will ya?
You relax. You gears all suck. Bunch of bloodthirsty fascist pigs.
So, we're not the good guys? Shucks, all that Unity streets were a lie then. Sadly, the Stranded doesn't last long, and oh man, the first time falling through the wood scared the you-know-what out of me.
Shit, it's gone.
Careful. We need to keep moving.
We get past the puzzle and get swarmed by wretches, which the shotgun was made for. I don't think I mentioned it before, but if you perfect reload, not only is it faster, but you will get increased damage, a very necessary thing on higher difficulties. I want to note again how claustrophobic these hallways and corridors are. Almost everything man-made has been incredibly compressed and industrial. It'll be an interesting contrast to what's coming next.
Can't stop the train, baby.
Oh god, the J-train scared me. We fight through more locusts to get to the minecart room, and have some sort of comical on-rails bit that somehow worked really well. I like how they split it up with a puzzle, then this section, so it's not all firefights, and makes the pacing feel a little bit less repetitive. It also goes back to my thought on how the gameplay feed into the visuals that feed into the narrative that feed back into the gameplay. We're not only seeing the scale of this facility, but get to play through it, which leads to questions on the story.
Control, this is Delta. We've entered the core room.
Stand by, Delta. I'm raising the platforms for you.
Oh boy, this place is huge, and here's why I've been talking about tight spaces throughout the game. The underground cave level in this game are gigantic and feel more open than anything previously encountered throughout the game. I wonder if this was intentional from the developers, a sort of throwing the trope on its head. I can't quite explain it since it was more of a feeling, but being underground felt better in a way. Or maybe it was such a contrast to the previous levels that it was more of an effect on me. I don't know, did anyone else have that feeling? So we have to plant the resonator to map out the tunnels, yet can't just do it from where we landed. No, we have to go way deep into the mine. I do love the prospectors that you can find, even if they're the same model. Goes to show that humans dug deep. Maybe too deep, like Mines of Moria deep. We fight through more enemies and then get this. The Corpser boss was more of a spectacle than a mechanical boss fight, even with some dodge moves and a small bit of finesse required. I also don't know how I feel about Fenix or Dom saying, "Hit the underbelly," so quickly into the fight, but that doesn't take away from killing this bastard. Certified badass. We meet back up with the crew and finally make it to the pumping station. There are a lot of great lines here, and even in the Gears humor, we can gain some information about the Locust caste system, or their military rankings at least.
You hear that? What the hell's that sound?
It's just the wind.
Yeah, right. When's the last time the wind said hostiles to you? Those aren't drones.
Oh, shit. Looks like they upgraded.
They're called Theron guards. Think they know what we're doing?
Well, we're not here to sell cookies, so they know something's up.
There are a specialty guard that have come to defend the station, which means this place is probably very important to the Locust if they're defending it with their elite guard. With the station under our control, we set up the resonator and get the hell out of Dodge.
What do you mean, it didn't work?
I mean that lousy resonator didn't deliver the goods. According to Anya, we're missing data on, hell, I don't know, most of the network. We'd need 100 resonators to map these tunnels.
So what? We'll use this instead.
I'll use it to smash your teeth in. How about that?
Shut up and look at it. Look, those are Locust tunnels, Fenix. You know I'm right.
Where did you find that?
It popped on screen when I hacked in. The files were there.
Fenix, report!
Anya, are you seeing this?
Affirmative. And Private Baird is correct. That geobot is showing more tunnel data than the resonator.
Oh, this is bullshit.
Give me a 0 point on that data.
Sir, well, it came from East Barricade Academy. From his father's house, specifically.
Whose father?
Sergeant Fenix, sir.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. So the resonator didn't fully work, but somehow Barrett hacked into the little geobot or whatever. Seriously, what are these things? I was very confused at this point. We also get the Locust that killed our lieutenant in the beginning of the game listening to our comms, so I guess he knows where we're going.
This
6th floor. Lonely?
Cruising for a date, 2-5?
Sorry, honey. You're not my type.
What a cool shot, but I would not want to be a helicopter pilot in this universe. Too many bogeys. So Fenix's father must have had something to do with the research on the Locust or something important enough to have us gears search the old academy. I like how we've seen the government infrastructure like the House of Sovereigns, the industrial side with the factory, and now the academia side fighting through the university, which has a thing for cogs. Maybe the cog government wasn't so good. Anyways, we clear this courtyard and are informed that the crashed chopper has survivors, and instantly Fenix wants to go for them. I can't believe I'm saying this, but Marcus Fenix might be one of my favorite characters. Not that he has the range of Gandolfini or the duality of Gary Oldman, but Fenix's true nature of caring for his fellow soldier resonates with me a lot. He also stood trial for his convictions, which I hope I'm not hyping up a war criminal or something. We'll see. We get another choice, but this time it felt more consequential in comparison to being in separate hallway from each other. We fight our way through the numerous courtyards, popping locust heads and hammer of dawning cedars, which never gets old. Okay, I know this is like the 100th time I've talked about the visuals and the futuristic Art Deco design, yet it's so goddamn good. The amount of detail on each exterior facade or interior room is exquisite, and maybe I'm misremembering or not in the loop, but I'm surprised this game doesn't get more eyes on it for these neat details, rather than the blood and gore of its gameplay. We get to the crash site, and oh boy, that's pretty wild that Stranded were trying to loot the bodies.
Don't you?
Shit. They're not going anywhere yet. All right. Dom and I will go ahead, clear the way.
Control, this is Delta 1. Delta 2 is caring for wounded and flagging for pickup. Is the conservatory clear?
As far as I can tell, Delta 1.
Then that's our route.
We enter the gardens and, oh my god, I hate these things. They take more hits than a cedar does. You can tell I had some pent-up rage.
How about we never do that again?
Yeah, that works for me.
With some more fighting along the river, we end up at the Fenix estate.
God damn, is this ever gonna end?
Control, this is Delta, go ahead.
I'm detecting seismic activity inside the house. There might be locust tunnels inside.
Copy that, Anya, we are aware.
Woo, yeah, baby! What's up, ladies?
Locusts are inside.
There's something else here too, an APC behind the house. Now we can get out of this shithole. No offense.
With J-Train and Baird off to fix the APC behind the house, it's up to Dom and Fenix to secure what I assume to be the house Fenix grew up in. This was another great world-building portion. You can tell Fenix is feeling something with the musical change as you enter the house, and I'm sure seeing his childhood home in this ruin doesn't help his demeanor. After defending the homestead, Dom and Fenix explore the house, and with a door like this, definitely holds some secrets. Another small detail that I found interesting was a lot of signage, especially in the Stranded part of town, that talked about drinking or excessive drinking. If you notice, the Fenix estate in the cellar has a lot of wine or a lot of placement for wine. I don't really know what it means right now in terms of the story, if anything at all, but I thought it would be cool to bring up. I guess it wasn't just workers that had a hard time getting off the drink. Fenix finds a secret door and we have a eureka moment.
Jack, plug in and see what you can find. All right, Anya.
I'm bringing up the data now. Stand by.
What are we looking at?
They're locust tunnels. impossible. There can't be these many tunnels. It's a honeycomb. The planet's crust is riddled with them. They're everywhere.
I take it that qualifies as enough data to get the job done?
More than enough.
Then let's get out of here. Start pulling the data.
I can't. The files are too big for this bandwidth.
Then we'll take them with us. Jack, download this data.
Confirmed, but it'll take a while.
Guys, there's still a war going on up here? Get up here, will ya?
Oh my god, bandwidth problems? You can call in an orbital strike but can't transmit a terabyte of data? What future is this? We get back upstairs for a final showdown while Jack is downloading the files. God, I remember 2010. Wait, is this Lord of the Rings? That was an awesome, unique animation and weapon for the big guy.
Fire in the hole!
Nice!
With the data downloaded, we make our way to the APC.
Come on, come on, come on! Brumac! Go!
I'm sorry, what the hell is that thing? Obviously someone gave it a mech warrior makeover. So, with the data we collected from the Fenix estate, we're tasked with meeting up with some sort of train that has a light mass bomb that will close up the tunnel system if detonated correctly and in the right place. So many factors have to go right. I also don't understand how a train is functionally running at this time. Like, are there humans on the service that aren't considered stranded? Where do the cogs come from? Who does the maintenance on the Hammer of Dawn satellites? The list goes on. And of course, we can't just get to point B from point A. We end up at this closed bridge and somehow need to find a power supply. For once, I wish something would happen that wasn't out of the blue or a mission fiasco. Bard also says that the Brumac, the gigantic organic mech warrior that shot at us, is close behind, which, oh boy, that's not going to be fun to deal with. After fighting off the welcoming party, Fenix orders Cole and Bear to stay with the APC, and Dom and Marcus to look for the downed electrical wire. We get a little bit more of an insight into Marcus and his father's relationship from these lines between Dom and Fenix.
You sounded just like your old man back there.
Yeah, well, screw my old man. He thought he could prevent this war, and look what happened.
Yeah, well, now his mapping data's gonna help end it.
Somehow, I don't think he'd appreciate the irony.
So there's a lot more to this, and even the thought of humans knowing there would be a war with a subterranean alien race is kind of eye-opening. Another gnarly detail I liked was going through the stranded shantytown and seeing the devastation from these wretches. Like, did our presence cause them to start going against the stranded, or were the stranded just always easy targets? And who the hell was Dom looking for? It was at this time when I looked at the collectibles and what they unlocked in the main menu. These were some really cool comics and definitely added to the backstory, like Phoenix's first mission as a cog, which seemed to be more of a protection mission for emulsion fields. They also reference another human faction, so it seems that the emulsion was like sort of like oil and they had to fight over it. Even more sinister is that if the locusts weren't around, why was Phoenix's father making an orbital laser that destroys anything it touches? Sadly, you have to find the cogs throughout most of the levels, and I didn't focus on that too much this playthrough. I thought it was interesting though that you could go out of the game and get more context about it, which I'm assuming was more of an Ultimate Edition add-on than anything else. We're also getting a lot more intact posters. There is one which says no blood for emulsion, and I can only guess that harvesting that resource costs lots of lives. Another one saying call it in, sort of like see something say something, but the one that resonated with me the most was they can be anywhere poster. That gave me a very big World War II propaganda vibe. It also had me thinking, so the humans knew that some of the locusts were down there, but the extent of which no one had a clue? If they had time to put out posters specifically for this threat, I wonder if it was the hubris of the cogs or the government that completely bungled the response. We also get this great set piece with the Brumac, like this is what Spectacle is all about.
Brumac! Marcus, we gotta slow it down!
Shoot the legs!
It's still coming!
Aim for his feet!
Everything from the Brumac attack to this theater sequence is exquisite. Plus the time crunch of the train speeding up, us not even getting the power back on, it's tense to say the least. I really enjoyed destroying the theater set to kill the Cedar too. That was just a great touch.
Get over here! It's right there! Man, that thing has chased us everywhere! Okay, what now, boss?
Control, this is Delta. Do you read? Shit, still out. Okay, the only way we can catch that train is with Anya's help. So re-establishing comlink is our top priority. Let's find that Cedar.
Going through the parking lot was intense, and with the second Cedar down and dusted, our comms are back to normal.
That was beautiful, baby!
Marcus, is that you?
Power line repair's complete. What's the status on that train?
Not good. The Locusts are on board. They're throwing our guards onto the tracks. And according to grid power levels, your bridge is still inoperable.
Options?
You're close to Timgad Central Energy. If power can be restored, that will be the place to do it.
It's kind of fitting that everything can go wrong, and does. I also enjoyed that as we progress, the Locusts have had to bring in more units and upgraded ones at that. Now we're seeing those elite guards above ground with their elaborate armor pieces and goddamn arrows that explode. Yeah, one of these sticks you, you're done. That never happened to me. Alright, I just don't want to show it. We finally get to the power station and have a pretty awesome fight while traversing machinery, and we get a bit more information.
Marcus, I was wrong. It wasn't the Stranded tapping the grid, it was these guys. They're taking it underground. All of it.
Tell me you can fix it.
I'm working on it. Damn it, Jack, the other circuit!
At this point, I would have hoped for the COG team to go, wow, these Locusts sure seem smarter than just normal pawns. Like, they're siphoning off electrical power. That takes an advanced engineering degree, right? And what are they powering? We flip a couple of switches, but again, nothing goes right.
Okay, we're done. Wait. Oh, shit!
Now what?
Power levels are good, but we need to jump the transformer polarity.
How do we do that?
We can't. We'll need a full set of tools, enough rated cable to connect 2 transform blocks, an interrupt to manage levels.
What the hell? You mean we're stuck?
Yeah. Unless you can pull something out of your ass big enough to connect 2 transformers.
Something big enough to fit between those things out front? I think I just solved our problem.
Marcus, I love where your head is at.
Shit. There it is. Now what?
Now, we piss it off.
What?
I like that they showed the driver coming out of the Brumac. It's another indication that the Locusts subjugate their own, like the chaining of the Berserker or controlling the Brumac through the helmet contraption. Kind of feel bad for the thing. Anyways, this is another epic boss fight. Like, if this backdrop doesn't impress you, I don't know what will.
Okay, let's roast this thing. And I thought the food in prison smelled bad.
Marcus, we've lost control of the train. Now you'll have to catch it as it passes through Timgad Station.
Roger that.
jump on a moving train, and try to recapture a bomb. This day just keeps getting better and better.
I'm with you, Dom. This sounds wild, and even worse, it's getting to be nighttime. Again. Like, damn, they've been up for at least 40 straight hours. We get to the train station, and again, I love the set design for everything. From the abandoned cars to the signage for Tim Gad Station, it's such a great mix, and with the verticality of enemy placements, makes the player look around at their surroundings a lot more. And now the train. Everything has come to this.
Here it comes! Get ready!
Go, Bear! Get up here! I'll be right with you! Let's go, let's go! Oh, shit! Hey, Anya, what are we looking at?
Okay, the bomb is at the front of the train, and there are plenty of locusts on board. You've got to get going now.
Let's move out!
A simple search and rescue mission has now led Marcus and Dom to detonating a mass light bomb that will turn the tide of the war. Hopefully. I know I sound like a broken record now, but the scale of this blows my mind. This world is huge, the industry massive. Like, look at the size of this train and what they're transporting. It goes back to my original thesis. This is how you start a franchise. This is the perfect way to introduce the world, and I'm so surprised Gears 1 doesn't get more praise for how it pulled off its narrative. Oh, not another berserker. Another neat detail is that the locusts are now blocking the Hammer of Dawn by what HQ calls inking the skies. So like, they are advanced, right? I'm just glad this berserker is dumb as a box of nails.
Disconnect the card! Piece of shit!
We fight through more of the train, which on a gameplay design level, I thought was very unique. For most of the game, we've been in open arenas that the player usually dictates their cover placement. For the train, it's much more linear, like a slog, but not in a bad way. It kind of made me feel like even though we were progressing slowly, it was more like chainsawing through a hardened corpser. We'll just get there, it might take some time. Oh, and we're here.
Marcus, you've got to drop that data right now!
You still have it?
Hell yeah, I do. Right here.
Wow!
Engage!
I loved General Ram as a villain, but this boss fight was very annoying with how useful the krill were. I died a lot to Ram and was pretty frustrated that after a full level of dealing with krill, that they were more of the boss than Ram was. It also didn't help having Dom being the AI, since the guide that I had to look up after my 10th death talked about how easy it was on co-op. Yeah, that doesn't help. After many reloads and sniper shots to the face, we finally bring down this dastardly villain. And oh, is that satisfying.
Let's do this!
Let's go, let's go! Marcus!
Hold still!
Damn it! This is it, Marcus!
So, what are we doing tomorrow?
Yes. Pure yes. Action movie from the 80s, and I'm completely here for it.
Your gears successfully deployed the Lightmass bomb. We have destroyed the enemy stronghold. This war has exacted a heavy price from all of us. It has torn our world apart. But you have my word that we will rise again.
They do not understand.
Oh shit.
They do not know why we wage this war. Why we cannot stop. Will not stop. Why we will fight and fight and fight. Until we win. Or we die. And we are not dead yet.
Yeah, so that might be the Queen Ram sort of murmured about. 1,000 yeses. Firstly, holy moly, she seems to be human. Secondly, she's riding on a locust we did not encounter in the game. And thirdly, I'm pretty sure we didn't kill them all. The ending is so super satisfying, getting the bomb to detonate, and you get a cliffhanger with the Queen reveal. Are you kidding me? I want to download Gears of War 2 right now, and if it wasn't so weirdly hard to get on PC, something Game Pass Cloud Play. Anyways, I would love to hear your thoughts on Gears 1, whether you thought it was a good way to introduce the franchise and how it compares to the rest of the series in your eyes, which I will be covering, so stay tuned. After my playthrough of Gears 1, I just want to go back to the sick and visceral gameplay, learn more about the story and the universe it's in, plus a whole lot more. I truly appreciate you taking the time, and as always, see you next time.
Yeah, that was beautiful, baby.